cooperative was not operational at the time of audit, despite building the poultry house. The cooperative had to put the remaining money in village banking for it to grow before starting the poultry business. In addition, despite the orientation in financial management and record keeping before the funds were raised, the limited basic reading and contributed to the lack of financial records at the time of audit. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the cooperative has stocked the poultry house after raising some money from the village banking. However, technical support was offered by other departments and the cooperative is now operational. The financial records have also been prepared and attached for verification. Remedial measures. Management will continue engaging the beneficiaries on basic financial record keeping. Chair, we have attached appendices on E. Page 10, Chair, these are appendices on cross-cutting issues. Appendix 1, Budget, Funding and Expenditure. Management response, cause of query. Management wish to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development retained the 115,684 for each constituency, totaling to 231,362,000 as an additional deduction for procurement of CDF monitoring vehicle and police vehicles. The balance on 2023 funding against the expenditure relates to CDF programs that were ongoing at the end of the year. Action taken. Management wished to state that a reconciliation of the records has been undertaken of the performance of the 2023 CDF funds and the results are as shown in the table below. Chair, we have two tables for Kapoche constituency and for SINDA constituency. Remedial measures. Management is committed and will work hard to implement CDF resolutions within the meeting period. Chair, we have attached appendices on F. Appendix total unspent funds. Management response. Cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the balance brought forward amounting to 22,375,269 at the beginning of the year represent funds for CDF programs that were ongoing from 2022, which was due to delays in the issuance of CDF guidelines. Interest accrued arose from interest earned on the main CDF account and revolving fund account. The balance on funding against the expenditure, including balance brought forward, relates to CDF programs that were ongoing at the end of the year. Action taken. Management wishes to state that after a review by the auditor's office on the 2022 balances brought forward, it was recommended that the matter be closed and the status report is availed for verification. Further, management wishes to state that a reconciliation of the records has been undertaken of the performance of the 2023 CDF funds and the results are as shown in the table below. The unspent funds as at 31st December 2023 has since been spent and documents are available for verification. Remedial measures. Management is committed to spend funds within the subsequent year. Chair, we have appendices on G. Appendix 2.1. Unspent funds on community projects. Management response, cause of query. Management wish to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the balance on the 2023 funding against the expenditure relates to community projects that were ongoing at the end of the year. Action. Management, a reconciliation of and of the performance of the community projects, and the results are shown below. So we have Kapoche and we have SINDA on the community projects. Remedial measures. Management is committed and will work hard to implement CDF resolutions on community projects within the implementing period. Chair, we refer the attachments to G. Appendix 2.2, unspent funds on empowerment grants. Management response. Cause of query. Management wish to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the balance on the 2023 funding against the expenditure relates to overspent funds. Empowerment grants for SINDA constituents was due to the balance brought forward from 2022 amounting to 542,530 spent in 2023 in the total disbursement. An amount of 201,108 kwacha that was spent in the year 2022 did not settle in the beneficiary's account, and the reversal due to invalid bank details occurred in 2023. This amount did not form part of the balance brought forward, and on its successful transmission became part of the amount recognized as overspent. Further, management wishes to inform the committee that the overspent funds for Kapoche constituency was due to the forward from 2022 amounting to 2,538 kwacha that was spent in 2023 and accounted for in the total disbursement. An amount of 161,350 that was spent in the year 2022 did not settle in the beneficiary's account, and the reversal due to invalid bank details occurred in 2023. This amount did not form part of the balance brought forward, and on its successful transmission became part of the amount recognized as over. Action taken. Management wished to state that a reconciliation of the records has been undertaken of the performance of the empowerment grants, and the results are as shown below. Remedial measures. Management is committed and will work hard to implement CDF resolutions on community projects within the implementing period. Chair, we refer phrase. Management response. Cause of query. Management wish to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the balance on the 2023 funding against the expenditure was due to the variations on the procurement of desks for both constituencies, whose payments spilled into 2024 and recorded as a balance brought forward in 2024. Action taken. Management wish to state that a reconciliation of the records has been undertaken of the performance of the secondary boarding and skills development bursaries, and the result as shown in the table below. With Chair and SINDA. Remedial measures. Bursaries within the subsequent year. We refer to Appendix G for attachments. Appendix 2.5, unspent funds administrative costs. Management response. Cause of query. Management wish to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the balance on 2023 funds against the expenditure was due to the administrative cost that was kept toward monitoring on ongoing projects. Action taken. Management wish to state that a reconciliation of the records has been undertaken of the performance of the administrative cost on monitoring of then ongoing projects, and the results are as shown as below. have for Kapoche and we have for SINDA. Remedial measures. Management is committed and will work hard to implement CDF resolutions on secondary boarding. Chair will refer appendices to G. Appendix 3, 2022 community projects under SINDA and Kapoche. Management response and cause of query. Management wish to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that this was due to financial constraint faced by the contractor in claiming the IPCs.
You can go to the next one. This one is a repetition from the first one.
Thank you, Chair. Appendix 4, 2023 community projects. Management response, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation and state that the delay in completion of Kapoche and SINDA community projects was due to the contractors that had delayed working on the projects, citing challenges in claiming the IPCs.
This is also a repeat.
Chair, yes,
we can go to the next one. On page 29, appendix 5.
Page 29, appendix 5. This one is also similar to G, where we had put appendix 2. Management response, cause of query.
We make progress. We go to the next one.
Thank you, Chair. Appendix 7, failure to account for funds. We'll also refer to Appendix E, which was already mentioned on query number 5.
We make progress.
Appendix 8, performance analysis soft loans on page 33. Management response, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation and state that the performance analysis soft loans that was availed by the auditors was due to information gap between the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and the local authorities on the CDF guidelines that were received late, which led to the delay in disbursement of the loans to the beneficiaries. The banks also delayed due to the procedures to verify the documents for the beneficiaries. The number of applicants against the number approved applicants in SINDA constituents was due to the balance brought forward from 2022, which raised the amount disbursed. Further, the number of applicants against the number of approved applicants in Kapoche constituents was due to the number of qualified applicants that remained in 2022 and the balance of funds which raised the number of beneficiaries allocated the funds. This was because the demand in Kapoche was higher than that of SINDA. Action taken. Management wished to state that the beneficiaries from both constituencies were approved and received the funds. Remedial measures. Management will continue sensitizing the beneficiaries on the loan repayments as agreed with the bank. We refer appendices to H. Appendix 9. Failure to recover loans. Management response, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the non-recovery of loans in SINDA and Kapoche constituencies was due to the adherence of the loan agreements between them, meaning that the beneficiaries and the bank. Action taken. Management has since written to the banks to request for loan agreement forms and individual loan statements from Indo-Zambia Bank, Nyimba, and Zambia National Commercial Bank, Chipata branches. Management has further engaged the banks on the defaulters of the loans as they are unable to provide the schedules at the end of each month. Further, management has since engaged the provincial local government officer for authority to enhance loan recoveries by asking the beneficiaries to deposit in the revolving fund account and submit the deposit slip to the local authority in the case where the bank is failing to deduct from the beneficiary's account. Chair, remedial measures. Management will continue engaging the banks and the beneficiaries to harmonize the agreements. Chair. Appendix 10, secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Management response, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the secondary boarding and skills development bursaries for SINDA and Kapoche constituencies was due to the pupils and students that did not graduate at the time of audit. The 21 students under SINDA constituency and 39 students under Kapoche were all approved and sponsored though only a few graduated, while others whose courses ran beyond 1 year remained in school. The 22 pupils and the 48 pupils respectively who were approved and sponsored were in different grades, and only a few completed in grade 12, while others remained as returning pupils for the following years. Action taken. Management wish to state that a reconciliation of records has been undertaken of the secondary boarding and skills bursaries, and the results are as shown in the table below. Management wish to state that all the 21 students under SINDA constituency have since completed and graduated, and out of the 22 pupils, 8 have completed grade 12 secondary school, while 14 are still in school. The 39 students under Kapoche constituency fund development fund have all completed and graduated, and out of 48 pupils, 17 have completed grade 12, while 31 are still in school. Management has since paid for the retaining students and pupils, including the 2025 newly sponsored ones. Allocated amounts of 5.397,641.38 for SINDA constituency was less the expenditure of 908,165, leaving a balance amounting to 4,407,976.38, which was varied towards the purchase of school desks within the constituency. The allocated amount of 5,397,641,000.38 for Kapoche constituency, less the expenditure of 421,945, leaving a balance amounting to 4,975,696.38, was varied towards the purchase of desks within the constituency. Remedial measures. Management will continue tracking the progress on the secondary boarding and skills development bursaries to ensure the approved learners acquire the much needed education and skills. See Appendix J. Chair, my memoranda, I submit.
Thank you so much, Council Secretary, for your submission. Before I call on points of clarifications, I wish to recognize our only female member of the committee, the MP for Kalulush. Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, and a very impressive committee. My name is Kampamba Mlenga. I am Member of Parliament for the good people of Kalulush on the Copper Belt. SINDA, you are welcome.
Thank you so much. Points of clarifications, Honorable Darius Mulunda.
Chairperson, page 35.
Page 35.
page 35 through to 36. Okay, Chairperson, I'll read the cause of query for SINDA Town Council. Cause of query: management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observations and state that the recovery of loans in SINDA and Kapoche was due to adherence of the loan agreements between the beneficiaries and the bank. Page 36, action taken by this management, the SINDA Town Council management has since written to the banks to request for loan agreement forms and individual loan statements from Zambia Bank, Nyimba, and Zambia National Commercial Bank, Chipata branches. Management has further engaged the bank on defaulters of the loans as they are unable to provide the schedules at the end of each month. Further, management has since engaged the provincial local government officer for authority to enhance loan recoveries by asking beneficiary to deposit in the revolving account and submit the deposit slip to the local authority in the case where the bank is failing to deduct the beneficiary's account. Chairperson, I want to be made clear here. From the statement that SINDA is providing here, the response that is the council is providing is that these loans are supposed to be between the bank and the beneficiaries. May I know the role, Chairperson, that the council played actually identifying or disbursing this money? Was this money coming from the bank or it was coming from CDF? Chairperson, that is my first question.
Yes, you may respond.
Thank you. I wish to state that the council played its part from the initial stage where the WDCs would forward the names to the local authority. And the local authority, up to the end where CDFC committee sits, will also attach a list of those names approved by. But Chair, I wish to refer to the Appendix H where the circulars are given to local authorities to guide on how the banks and also the local authority plays its role. When you look at the circulars, it will also indicate that the bank will do its part up to where the beneficiaries will get the money. And even deducting these repayments, it is the issue of the bank, but not the local authority. The local authority will receive monthly information or statements from the bank, and that is where we come in as also the local authority. I'll also call upon Director Planning to also bring up an issue.
Yes, Honorable.
Before we go there, Chairperson, SINDA Town Council, are you not given the CDF monitoring vehicle that is supposed to encompass, that is supposed to take into account the activities of these loans? Is it not the duty of the authority? Are you doing that, or you just waiting for the bank to do that for you?
Yes, you may respond.
Yes, Chair. The local authority indeed has the vehicles to go and monitor beneficiaries within the district and the constituencies. And the local authority has been doing that, has been doing the monitoring. Each Chair.
You have evidence to that effect that you've been monitoring?
Yes, Chair. We have attached the monitoring reports on Appendix H, And I'll ask Director Planning also to come in, Chair. Thank you.
Can we get an explanation from Director Planning? Then you can ask the subsequent follow-up. Director Planning?
Thank you, Chair. As alluded to by the Council, on Appendix H, which shows part of our role that we've played in ensuring that repayments are made by the loan beneficiaries. But besides that, on the same Appendix H, we also have minutes of backstopping meeting that has been held with all loan beneficiaries, urging them to make repayments. In addition to the backstopping, we also have been writing letters to the beneficiaries demanding them to make the loan repayments, and we also have attached a letter to the POGO now to help give a go-ahead for loan beneficiaries to deposit the money into the revolving fund account. So the Council Chair has made efforts to engage the beneficiaries and also to seek ways that we can enhance the loan repayments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Mulunda, follow.
Thank you very much. So, under the year under review, how many beneficiaries got loans, and how many are those that are doing fine, if they are in? According to your report, do you have the numbers or the names of the companies or beneficiaries that are doing fine? And then I'm also still looking for the letters that you wrote to individuals.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. On page 35, we are able to see the numbers of the recipients. Under SINDA we have 17, and under Kapoche we have 42.
Honorable Mulunda, page 35.
This is page 35.
Yes, arising from the monitoring.
Yes.
Those 5 SINDA, is it 17? Kapoche 42. So under Kapoche,
in Kapoche, the ones that are doing very well are actually, I think, we have not added information.
Director Finance. Yes, Brigade.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we have not been counting on to see or to show how many beneficiaries are doing the repayment, but we have the information with us. Maybe if Chair could allow us, if we can get that information and avail it to the committee through the Secretariat, I submit.
Are you saying the information you have given us on page 5 on the number of recipients making payments is being disowned by yourselves now? Is the table?
Share the table on the table there.
Yes. Because the Honorable just wants to verify that the information you are giving us is accurate.
Chair, the information is accurate. What we have given, Chair, is what we are informing the committee, that this is the picture that we have under SINDA and Kapoche.
Honorable Minister.
Yeah, CS, let's here. I didn't ask Kasinda and Kapoche. I think I asked about Kapoche because what we provided here is that there is zero recovery, there is zero repayment. And when you say almost 17, that's why I said there is no number almost 17 on human beings. So I wanted you to give us a clarification because you said you have a report and then you have the names. So how many are doing fine? And if they are doing something, why should we be recording zero?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. The zero that is recorded was at the time of audit. That's the table that Chair, you are seeing on top. But I'll allow Director Planning to come in.
Director Planning, could you give us the current status quo? Yes, this could have been from the Auditor General, but from yourselves, in answer to this, you should have given us the current picture so that we know if this zero has improved or not. Yes, Director Planning.
Thank you very much, Chair. Looking at Kapoche, the constituency where information has been requested for, this constituency had its bank with Invest Trust. Later on, Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank has taken up the responsibility of the loans. So at the time when the audit was being done, information on Kapoche was not available, and we have requested from Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank, as evidenced by a letter that has been attached, to have those statements availed to us. For SINDA, I think the schedule is there. There is a statement which shows on the loan repayments, but for Kapoche, we've attached a letter where we have requested Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank to avail those details. So it's a bit of a challenge to give the figures now, but
when did Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank take over the operations of Invest Trust in your district? When did they open? CS, you may respond. If you are not sure, you can refer to the former CS.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. With me here, I have a press statement, Chair, if you allow it.
Yes.
It's saying that with effect from April 2nd, 2024, that is when the bank, Zambia, actually
Director
closed.
Planning, you can switch off your mic. So from April 2024,
Yes, 2nd April
you have
2024.
no records to date on the performance of the loan beneficiaries. Honorable Mulunda, follow.
Chair, the press statement which you are accepting as chairperson is 2024. We are looking at the audit for 2023 up to December 2023. So the information that they are supposed to provide, chairperson, is between January 2023 and the 31st December 2023. Chairperson, I can also add something here on page 36. If they can read their remedial measures, if the CS can read the remedial measures.
CS, take note of the comments of what the honorable member is looking for. Please go ahead and read your remedial measures.
Remedial measure. Management will continue engaging the banks and the beneficiaries to harmonize the agreement. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mulunda.
Thank you very much, CS. So you see, your role here is the remedial measure. First, I want to start from, before I come to that, let me start from the response from Director Planning. Director Planning, that the bank was taken by the other bank, so it was difficult to do that. Meaning you had the records where you had the records for beneficiaries in the year 2023 up to December. And that's what we're interested. Before we get into 2024, we want to see the record that you had at the close of the year, how Kapochi was doing before the bank actually was overtaken by another bank in April 2024. What was the status for these loans in 2023? Because we are looking at 2023, and when the auditors come, they're actually looking at the period between January and December 2023. And then you put the remedial measure is continuing engaging the banks. But what is on the ground is, because the bank will be there. I told the other local authority that the bank, if it's their money, they actually demand for a collateral. But this is the money from the council, and they know that the council will be going down and be checking there. So because when you realize there is no recovery, there is 0-0 at the end of the year, 2023. And you come up with a remedial measure that you continue engaging them so that they harmonize. We thought we were going to get a substantive report from you that actually when we realized 6 months or 10 months after the disbursement, we realized there are no payments going there. We went down and companies, this club, this, all the beneficiaries, and getting them other than just writing to the bank yourselves, because this money is supposed to go into a revolving account, and other people are supposed to benefit. And if nothing is happening, 0-0 like you have recorded, then you get worried, CS, because other people will not benefit.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I will ask Director Finance to just add a word. Thank you.
Director Finance, you may respond.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, according to the financial statements for 2023, SINDA constituents, as at 31st December 2023, for SINDA, the loan repayment was 96,256.
We are interested in Kapochi,
Kapochi,
which is indicated 000. Can we speak to Kapochi?
Yes, Chair. Let me just get the financial statement for Kapochi. I have it here. Thank you, Chair. I found the Kapochi. Sorry, Chair. Actually, the 96,250 was for Kapochi. For SINDA was 61,250. I submit, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Mulunda.
Why do you have 0-0 on your report, the report that you went through before coming in?
Yes, Director Finance.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is the reconciliation which we did. That information was coming from Auditor General when they are doing their audit. Maybe they can be in the better position just to avail to the committee how they came up with the 0-0. But according to the financial statements, which we have here.
Director Finance, you're giving us information which you are reading yourself. We don't have those financial records. In your report, in your responses, you've been giving reconciliation tables, which for this query you have not done. You cannot answer like that. If you had given us the reconciliation and given us the status report, we would not be asking for this information. So this was the position at the time of audit, as admitted by your CS. The Honorable Member is asking, did you undertake M&E activities to find out why those who had recorded 0 had not been remitting finances? What is the current status quo as at 31st December? Because you have not shown it here. We want to know from your position. The Auditor General has given us their position. So in your response, you should have reconciled and given us a table to say, from our side, we did the reconciliation, and this is what the beneficiaries had since paid. And that is the information we are looking for. Yes, Honorable Mulonda.
A short one, Chairperson. There are three things involved
Yes,
here.
yes.
One, they have got a figure as SINDA Town Council. Is at the close of 2023 December. There is a figure that there is some activity. There is a figure that is coming from the Auditor General's office, which is zero, which you sat with them for a long time, exit meetings, or the management letter, and you agreed that it can be the report, your report, which you submit. Then we are asking, if Kapoche wasn't dormant, if some beneficiaries from Kapoche were repaying these loans, kindly reveal us the information that club number, that statement from the bank, you also have it in your report at local authority that there are companies or repaying. So if you have that information of the beneficiaries that are repaying, which is on the bank statement, then we'll rest the matter. We'll know that actually things are happening. Now just need to reconcile the records.
Chair, I may come in.
Yes,
Chair,
yes.
I just wish to apologize on maybe on the information that gap that we had shown for not in the statement in the report. We had brought in that report which we are giving right now. I think the whole thing would have not happened. But the information is there, and if you allow us, Chair, we can avail it to the committee, the Secretariat, so that maybe we have that. I
Honorable
submit,
Mane.
Chair.
Thank you so much, Chair. When you saw after audit, and before you came here, actually let me say after audit, you sat, you had a meeting, you reconciled the zeros. Then after that, why didn't you, even if you didn't reconcile the zeros, why didn't you still follow up the auditors to reconcile, say no, there it's not a zero, it is 2 million or it's this figure, and there it's not a zero, it's this figure. Why didn't you do that? Rather than you to wait until you come to appear before this committee, and then when you reach here, that's when you start telling your committee to say no. Actually, us from inception, we had different figures. We don't know where the auditors are getting these figures from. But they collected these figures from you. Instead of reconciling, you come here with the different figures. So why didn't you reconcile before you even came here? I submit, sir.
Yes, CS.
Chair, thank you very much, and that's why I said I acknowledge the error that we made. I wish we could have done better than this. As we had sat earlier, I wish that information would have been availed to the committee, and
Can we
we
withdraw the
apologize for that.
statement that you don't know where the Auditor General got this information?
Chair, thank you very much for that. I hereby withdraw the statement that was made earlier that we may not know where the auditors got the information, as auditors and us work hand in hand. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. So for this query, the committee will require information. We want to get how much was paid in this particular year as at 31st December 2023. We also want to see what is the current status as of at to date 2025. How many beneficiaries have paid these loans and how much has been paid in total for both Kapoche and SINDA. We may go to other questions, members, if any. Honorable Kalo.
Thank you, Chair. May I take the committee to page 37?
Page 7 of the report.
Appendix 10, secondary boarding and the skills development.
It's page 10, sir?
Page 37.
Or 37?
Yes, appendix 10.
Oh, appendix 10. Page 37. Appendix
Secondary
10.
boarding and the skills development bursaries. On the cause of query, Chair, they are telling us that management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation and state that the secondary boarding and skills development bursaries for SINDA and the Kapoche constituencies was due to pupils and students that did not graduate at the time of audit. Then, Chair, they have referred us to appendix. Maybe on the action taken, they are saying management wishes to state that the consideration of the records has been undertaken of the secondary and boarding skills development, and they are saying they have evidence on appendix J.
J.
Yeah, I've looked at appendix
Let's
J.
go to appendix J.
Yeah, this small thing, the red thing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Appendix J.
Yes. So here they've exhibited some pictures and a list of students who are under secondary.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, there are some pictures there and a list of students who are in college and secondary schools they are paying for. My interest, where is the student head count register signed by the students, also indicating the dates where you undertook the head count is not here. Where are the payment vouchers indicating that you've been paying on time? I can't see here. Where are the bank statements? There are no bank statements. Then my big concern also, you are saying this was as a result of students who did not graduate, but on page 24, on the remedial measures, you have indicated that management is committed and will work hard to implement CDF resolutions on secondary boarding and skills development bursaries within the implementing period, indicating that there are late payments. The same, the remedial measures on page 22, Chair. Again, you have said management is committed and will work hard to implement CDF resolutions on secondary boarding and skills development bursaries within the subsequent year. So the two on page 24 and page 22, they are consistent. But on page 37, again, you have exhibited an inconsistency. You are saying it was as a result of the students who never graduated. So why this inconsistent? Which one is the true position? For now, Chair.
Yes, you may respond.
Thank you, Chair. On page 38, where we had done the reconciliation, where we were referred to, when you look at which is on page 37, why we mentioned of the graduates, it was the numbers that were different from skills development and secondary schools. And hence, we said that a reconciliation of records giving us 21 on top on skills bursaries and 39 on the bottom. And Chair, the request here was on the bank statement. I wish to submit that we may not have attached it to Appendix J. I apologize, but we needed to refer again to Appendix G, because under Appendix G you find all the PVs for bursaries, and we also have those. And the registers, if you look at Appendix J, you'll find that there are some names of students that are attached, and the stamps from the schools availing the information has also been attached on Appendix J. And then he mentioned of page 24. Is it 24?
Chair, maybe
Chair,
for-
sorry.
she's moving out from the financials, so let's conclude the financials.
Okay, on the financials,
Let's allow her to finish, and then you come in with your follow-up. Yes.
yes, the inconsistency that he mentioned was on the graduations or the graduates of the pupils and both the skills, where we out the figures, saying that the amounts that are there, the ones that we have put in the action taken, and also the table that we reconciled, we have students that move or can run a course for more than 1 year, and those that are returning students. Looking at the figures that we had at the time of audit and the time that we had the students graduate, it spilled over to the year that followed. But for the pupils, when you look at the figures, we still have pupils that are coming in even as grade 8. So that is the numbers that we are showing to reconcile the figures. And when you look at Appendix J, Chair, he mentioned that we have not attached the appendices on J, and that is where I said that we could have referred again, because instead of just saying J, we could have also said Appendix G, because on Appendix G, Chair, we have these yellow slips that we have where we have indicated about bursaries and all the PVs and the payments that were done towards the schools and for both pupils and the students. So, Chair, we have the information on G, and which we may have not attached as an appendix on J, and we could have referred it to G. And I think the amounts showing, Chair, are all in Appendix G for the PVs.
Yes, your response is attached to Appendix J, but the information is in G. Honorable Kalo, follow-up.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I think I did justice. I also went to Appendix G. So can CS demonstrate by showing us those P, because all I can see on the G are payments to contracts, retention funds. That is what I can see. And I can't also see the students head count register here. Even the payment vouchers for the payments of these skills development.
Yes.
Chair, Appendix J has 2 booklets, has this one and has this one.
So kindly lead us to where the...
You mean on the bursaries?
Yes, on the bursaries.
Yes.
Yes, and then the bursaries is there after loans. There's a no, this is after grants, there are bursaries, and we have this is Capoche, and then for SINDA we've also attached some slips there also. We have PVs that are attached to show how much was spent during the year for both Capoche and SINDA. We also have a slip which is showing on a yellow slip, which shows bursaries under SINDA, and we've also attached the
They are PVs, but these are for the contracts, payment of supply of this.
the ones that are attached to as contracts for desks were the variations that we were mentioning too, because this was unspent on bursaries, Chair.
Are you able to lead us to a payment voucher specifically for students under skills? We, as a committee, have noted that there have been delays by most councils to pay for skills bursaries, and this has been a source of worry for the committee and our students, I think in the whole country. So I know where my honorable colleague is going. He really wants to see that you are paying on time. So do you have any PV for skills? If not, in time, maybe Director of Finance can check and perhaps just lead the committee to one of those so that we can analyze.
Okay, Chair, I will ask Director of Finance to come in then.
Director of Finance?
Thank you, Chair. What we have attached under Appendix G, the payment vouchers for unspent funds. But for the payment vouchers for all the bursaries, they haven't been attached in our report. But we can still avail them. We have them outside.
Okay, those should be availed to the committee. We would love to see just a sample of the payment voucher so that we are certain whether you are paying for our students on time. We want to learn in a proper. There's been our girls in all sorts of things because bursaries are being delayed by some of our councils. We proceed to another question, if any. Can I get Honorable Dr. Mwanza and then come back to you? Honorable Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. We go to page, we talk about projects, page 1. Delayed, yes, page 1, delayed completion of projects. There's a, a 1x3 classroom block at Gumbi Community School, which was entered into with the MJ Tan Contractors, 29th August 2023, up to using CDF 2022. But 10 months later, the project was still running. The cause of delay is, there are two major reasons. One, the contractor is claiming that the delayed settlement of IPCs, and the second one is there was a variation order. My point of clarification is the variation order. When we go to the appendix A, the contractor applied, or appendix 1, sorry. Yeah. The contractor applied for a variation order. He says we write to ask for a variation of works for installation of electrical and water system. The cost for these works is kwacha 287,963 kwacha. Then the client gives the contractor a go-ahead after passing through all the necessary procedures. There is a third letter from when the contractor wrote a letter on 28th February 2024, and then on 10th June 2024, council replied. Says variation of works in respect of contract for construction of community school at Gumbi in SINDA. So reference is made to our letter 8th March 2024. The issue here is the client replied to the contractor that kindly be informed that the procedures and approvals have been concluded after the procurement committee, which was held on 7th June 2024. You are therefore informed that your application for variation of an incinerator and a placenta pit has now been approved. You are therefore required to mobilize within 7 working days from date of receipt of this letter. The question here is, at Gumbi Community School, the 1x3 classroom block, the contractor requested for a variation order to include the electricals and water supply system. And the council gives an approval of a pit, a placenta pit, and an incinerator at a cost of 430,000 kwacha, while the contractor requested for 287,000 kwacha. The question is, at a secondary school or rather at a community school, a placenta which you approved, and the contractor requested for 287,000 kwacha, and you approved at 430,000 kwacha. Maybe I need that kind of clarification. Then the pictures on pictures written 7 on construction. I think this one could have black and white. And when I look at the picture of a 1x3 classroom block, it seems this is not. Is this the real site where you did the completion of this a new construction of a 1x3 classroom block? Because it seems there was a fire, and the plinth is anyway. Confirm whether we're talking about the same site. And the completion certificate for this particular project is attached just before the pictures. The completion certificate, the contents, the major content of the completion certificate, for this particular project. And the amount, can you confirm the total cost that you have put here? This is certified that MJ Tan Contractors has completed the construction 1x3 classroom block, solar water scheme and ablution block at Gumbi at the total cost of 1,458,154.70 kwacha. So when did they complete this project? And when I've done my mathematics here, the contract constructed at 1,300,556. Why do you put a completion certificate that has more than 100,000 kwacha above what the contractor received? We seek clarification for this.
Thank you so much, Doc. CS, you may respond.
Thank you, Chair.
Do you have the responses, or you want to delegate?
Chair, I'll refer to Director Engineering.
Director Engineering.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable. I'll start with the letter for variation of works. I wish to acknowledge the typo error that was made. This arose to an instant where we had a similar a project where we did a similar variation, which was a health post. But I would also like to clarify that I think this was stated on the completion certificate where we came out where we water scheme and ablution block at Gumbi village in SINDA constituency. Yes, sir. Then the 100,000 was due to the inclusion of the waterborne ablution and the water scheme.
Yes, follow-up, Honorable Dr. Manga. Has he responded to all the queries?
No, well, if we were to be, if you follow me clearly on financials, the variation order included a waterborne toilet and a solar water scheme. The total cost for the variation is 430. The initial contract price without the variation was 1,170,181. So you added these works, which the total cost should have been 1,600,000, something like this. When I look at your IPCs, one IPC would have a different contract value, initial contract value, and so on. Even for me to get the initial contract value of 1,170,000, I had to pass through an advance payment certificate because it talked about 25%. So I did a back calculation to arrive at the contract price. The point I'm making is this 1 million, the amount of money that you have indicated in the completion certificate includes the variation. The ledger, in terms of payments that have been given to the contractor, up to the last payment was done for on 7th November 2024. There are seven payments. So the total.
The Honorable is counting in Chinese. Can he count in English?
Well, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the IPCs, the amount to 1,347,536. So this that you put at the complete, you could have also reserved maybe some retention. So you should put the total amount for retention as well as what the contractor paid for, because this is misleading. Because it shows that the completion certificate, we are talking of 100,000 above the contract price.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. Well noted, Honorable. Thank you.
Well noted.
I just wanted also to refer to the minutes that are on Appendix 10, also showing, I think that's where mentioned of placenta pit, but in the minutes it's also showing that it was a water station which was mentioned. We apologize on the mix-up. We put two on one because there's a water reticulation and also placenta pit. So maybe in writing we picked a placenta pit. We apologize
for the
error.
Chair, you must be very careful because
yes,
the minutes of a meeting are not binding to a contractor.
yes.
So you can make those mistakes, you can refer to this and that. But now, when you issue an instruction to a contractor, that letter that you give an instruction to the contractor, it is binding to the contract. It is very easy for this contractor now to claim for placenta pit at that place, at Gumbo, whether he did it or didn't do, because you instructed to say you construct the pit and the placenta at this place. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And I just wanted to confirm that the site where the school is the correct site, Chair. Thank you. Chair, I apologize for the black and white picture.
Point of clarifications? None. Thank you for your submission. However, our interaction has shown that we still have some governance and financial challenges in SINDA, such as unspent funds at the time of audit. You had 24 million for Kapoche, 25 million for Kapoche, and 24 million for SINDA. Unimplemented community projects, 4 outstanding projects in SINDA and 6 remain stored, raising concerns about planning and execution efficiency. Unaccounted for funds in Kapoche remains 20,691 kwacha remain unaccounted, posing risks to financial transparency. And recovered loans, SINDA has 7.1 million kwacha loans unrecovered due to inadequate follow-up measures. Our report shows 0 for Kapoche. I hope you have not forgotten that I will give you up to Friday to give us that information through the Secretariat. Delayed jurisdiction, I think I've payment issues. Our recommendation as a committee is that number 1, you expedite fund execution and ensure funds are spent within the financial year. It's understandable for 2022 when we had teething problems. We expect that you improve, especially for 2024, now that the guidelines have been streamlined, and you alluded to that fact yourselves. Enhance project monitoring. You must establish a robust tracking system for community projects to prevent delays and ensure completion. This goes also for loans and grants, like it was noted by Honorable Mulunda. You have 2 vehicles in your district. Utilize them to monitor the activities of all the beneficiaries of the CDF components. Contract oversight, enforce penalties for non-performing contractors, and ensure adherence to project timelines. Stakeholder engagement, improve communication with beneficiaries and contractors. Cooperative management, review and monitor disbursements to cooperatives to ensure compliance with intended projects. I also noted for those cooperatives that received grants and changed business, like the one for the poultry, ensure that you sensitize them. It is allowed as long as they get permission from yourselves. I like the reasoning. They ventured into village banking to raise the capital a bit. Well and good, but the gap is they didn't get permission from yourself. So you need to normalize that, ask them to apply, okay, because that is another audit query, changing the scope of activities that were approved to another without permission. So for this one, the correct thing, and those would be beneficiaries. As you do your orientation on grant beneficiaries, loan beneficiaries, we had a case yesterday where someone got a loan for a driving school, but started doing taxi. So as a council, we expect that you orient these people on the procedures to take in case they want to venture into another business. On behalf of the committee, I want to thank you once again for your appearance. Go and improve the service delivery. Quite a youthful team in SINDA. We expect improved reporting next. You're almost confusing the honorable member, with your black and white pictures, showing as though the structure is not okay. So, Director of Finance, ensure that you give us proper photos next time as you get the report. I wish to uncap you take your leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. We acknowledge you have given us and we improve. Thank you so much and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much. Director Engineer, I don't want to say.
You fill my heart with so much peace and joy.